All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This video comes from Matt Walsh and it's titled "The View Host Spreads More Lies." The host in question is Sunny Holston, the gift that keeps on giving. I don't know what to say about The View. That we've watched several clips from The View here on this channel, but we're gonna get into another one, and Matt Walsh is gonna be walking through it with us. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe while you're watching. Now let's get into it.
Interesting claim made on The View yesterday about, I don't know, this is a claim about a policy that apparently Republicans have been supporting. This is news to me, but I don't know, listen.
But I will say this, just like the Latinas saved the Senate, young voters saved this country. And we need to really understand that we are supposed to leave this world in a better place than we found it. When you look at the youth voter turnout in the...
I will say, though, young voters, young people in general, the younger generation, the 18-year-olds, the barely, the 21s, the barely legals are some of the most lost, groups of people. And if that applies to you, I'm sorry, but it's just honest. When I look at today's youth, they are being led astray. So, it's just interesting that she mentions that group of people for saving her favorite party.
2022 midterms, they delivered key wins for the Democrats. Younger voters aged 18 to 29, which, by the way, now the Republicans want to raise the voting to age 28. Younger voters were the only voter group.
No, Sunny Holston, you're not getting away with that. What did she just say?
Voting to age 28.
She said Republicans want to raise the age to vote to 28. I'm with Matt Walsh. This is the first I'm hearing about that. This is the first I've ever heard about that. Anyone else ever heard about that? The new legal voting age will be 28. Where does she get her information from? Who feeds her this information? This is why these ladies need to be checked on this stuff. Because if people like me don't, Matt Walsh, etc., nobody else will. Everyone else will just let them run around and say whatever they want. Clearly, no one around her is checking what she says because she gets on air and just says something that's just a flat-out lie.
Younger voters were the only voter group by age to overwhelmingly support Democrats in the midterms. 63% of voters voted for Democratic House candidates. I think my friend, Cornell Belker, and Cornell as well, he says there are really two electorates, one older and one younger, fighting to take this country in very different directions. The Republican Party has to get with it. They are dying out.
Well, and
they are being
we're going to talk more about that, Sunny.
Young.
We're up on time here.
No, that's not true. It's not just about young and old. I mean, look at me. I'm young. I don't vote. I don't vote Democrat. It's not solely about young and old. I think it's really starting to come down to values, and with the left thinking that democracy is ending and January 6th and all this stuff, like that really emboldens them to vote. They feel like their morals and their views and their way of life is being threatened by the Republican Party, so they vote based on that.
So what was that again? She says, by the way, Republicans, they want to raise the voting age to 28. What? What Republican has said that? Tell me what Republican has said that, because I would be supporting them. I'd be campaigning for them. No Republican is saying that. Raise the voting age to 28. I haven't heard that from anyone. Now,
yeah, that might. I sound terrible, but is that the worst idea? No, I wouldn't even be able to vote.
You're also mistaken. Like, I'm not pushing for raising the voting age to 28 either. I want to raise it to like 35. But I am far, in a way, in the minority on that. And I'm also not an elected Republican politician, and I have not heard any suggest that we do that. And as we talked about yesterday, as much as I think that we should raise the voting age. We should have all kinds of parameters put in place. There should be all kinds of restrictions on voting that go way.
I do think the voting age could be 21. I think it could be 21. 20 between 21 to like 20, 23. Kids don't grow up as fast as they used to. like they don't mature as fast as they used to. We have so much access to, all this information and technology, but kids don't mature as fast these days.
Of restrictions on voting that go way beyond voter ID, same-day voting. I mean, that should just be the beginning of it. There should be so much more, but none of that is going to happen. It should, but it's not going to happen. And so we have to get to a point, myself certainly included, in dealing with what actually is happening. Yeah, our entire system of voting is a joke.
Yeah.
And it only becomes more of a joke every single day. But if we want to have any chance of changing any of that, we have to deal with that, confront that. And as I said yesterday, figure out how to navigate this system and exploit the systems that are in place. Republicans in some states have figured out how to do that. How do you mobilize the mass mail-in voting, early voting? None of that should exist. It shouldn't exist, but it does. And so are we going to allow Democrats to be the only ones who utilize that? Or are Republicans going to start utilizing it too?
Yeah, that's the Democrats do love the mail-in voting. Me personally, I think that might have been. There may have been a cause for that during COVID when people was too scared to, take 10 steps outside. It was, throwing that out there was justified. Mail-in ballots have always been a thing, but they really rose in popularity back then during 2020. And it's very easy. I think that's the easiest way of voting. That's the easiest form of voting where you can, something could be changed or where you're not sure that your vote is going to go to what you voted for, if that makes sense. So anything could get lost in the mail, misplaced. When you go sit down and vote in person, you do the electronic thing or you write it down, whatever, but at least you know that what you voted for, and you seen it. You saw it finalized. When you ship off your ballot, man, there's no telling what happens to it.
System shouldn't be there, but it is. And so take advantage of it to the extent that you can. Because the only other what's the other option? I don't see any other option. The other option is to, on principle, say, no, we're not going to do that. And then you just never win another election ever again. And all of the policies that you oppose, all of that only gets worse as a consequence.
Yeah, it's a tough position, and I will say that after 2020, I lost a lot of faith in our elections. I still vote, I'm still gonna go out and vote, but I did lose faith for sure. And to Sunny Holston, I don't even know what to say to her. Shame on her for even mentioning that. Raising the voting age to 28. That's no one would say that because no one would support that. No one would come out here and chant that out. Because they know they would get no support. That's the dumbest thing I've heard all day. Thank you, Sonny. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe when you're out the door. Till next time, you guys, I'm out. Peace.